Good morning, team, and welcome back to the channel. So prep series is over. So what I thought I would do today is show you a full day of eating on a rest day. So after prep, food has come up, not massively, food's come up by 400, 500 calories, because the goal for myself now, which I will do as a separate video, just going over my goals, but the goal for myself over the next 4 to 6 weeks is to still stay nice and lean. I don't want to be going straight into an off season and just getting fucking big straight away. I want to stay nice and lean for the next 4 to 6 weeks because we've got a couple of trips planned at the end of August, and then when we get back to Dubai in September, it will sort of be the same goal but slightly different. I have written some things down that I want to do, but I'll save that for another video. But training day, well, let me give you an update on what I'm sort of doing from a nutritional standpoint, because where a lot of people can struggle coming out of a fat loss phase or a prep setting, whatever it may be, right, is food noise and food focus, and I completely understand. I've been there numerous times before, so what I'm doing and what I find is helping me massively is going for a macro approach. Still keeping very good food in on the plan, but going for a macro approach. So, for example, and I'll show you the meals, meal by meal today now. But for example, my meal one on my plan should be, if I bring it up for you, so 2 eggs, 80 grams of sourdough, and 100 grams of mushrooms. But the meal one that I have is a New York bagel, 2 eggs, 3 chicken sausages, 125 grams of mushrooms. Now what I've done is I'm macro tracking my meals. So on my meal plan that my coach Ben has given me, 2,858 calories. Well, I've got 2,847 calories. So we're bang on for calories. 228 grams of protein, I've got 227. Carbohydrates, 346, I've got 346. Fats, 62, I've got fats, 60. So as you can see, my calories and macros are near enough identical, but I've just changed some food around. I've added some food in. Like there's certain foods that I've really been fancying. If you guys have been watching the prep series, you know that I'm absolutely obsessed with cream of rice, and I'm going to be leaving Wales on the 21st of August, and I've got loads of cream of rice, so I want to use that up. So I've got 2 bowls of cream of rice today, whereas usually I would just have the one. So little things, and that is what I want to show you guys, is my meal plan, but also having the flexibility where you can track macros and still stay on top of your physique goals. So that is essentially what I've been doing since coming off stage, is just going for a macro approach instead of just being like super militant on my meal plan. And like I said, it is helping me massively. Food noise is a lot lower, because for me, having a bowl of cream of rice in the night is unbelievable. Straight out the fridge, berries, whey, almond butter, some rice cakes. For me, that satisfies like a sweet tooth craving than having chicken and rice or beef mince and veg. So that's essentially what I've been doing, guys. Instead of having a bowl of chicken and rice and then thinking, oh, what sweet treat could I have to try and eliminate that craving? I'm just having a bowl of cream of rice. And then I'm not thinking, oh, what else could I have? Because the cream of rice is filling. It kills that sweet tooth craving. And for me, it's just helping me massively. So that is what I'm doing, guys. Macro approach. But this is going to be a full day of eating on a non-training day, eating 2,847 calories, 230 give or take protein, 350 give or take carb, 60 gram of dietary fat. So what I'll do is I'll show you guys meal by meal what I'm having, and then drop a comment what you think of my meals. It is very similar to what I've been having, but I'm looking forward to today's meals. Looking forward to it. Just to give you guys another update as well, from a body weight standpoint, I am fasted this morning. I was body weight 89.85 kilo. So on stage I was 87.9, so I'm up 1.95 kilo since I went on stage, which was 8 days ago, and I'm happy with that. When you're stage weight and stage condition, it's not a healthy body composition to try and retain. Like I wanted to put on a bit of body weight, but this is the sweet spot for me now. I'm finding in between 89 and 90. So 89 point something or 90 point something. That is where I want to be falling. Don't really want to be going into the 88s. Don't really want to be going into the 91s. So in between the 89 and 90 is where I want to be. And that's where I feel as if I'm looking my best. So I'm happy. I'm very happy with how I've managed the reverse phase. Like 8 days post show, not even 2 kilo up. Like I said in the last video, when I was in Marbella after the photo shoot last year, and Rowan, my best mate, he was there as well. I put on like 4 to 5 kilo in the week, because we were going out for food every evening and every day and every lunchtime and breakfast time. So put on a bit too much body weight too quickly, shot myself in the foot. Whereas this time, I'm controlling it far better. So enough of me rambling. That was 6 minutes of me rambling, and I've got to take you through 5 meals today. So let's just get straight into meal 1. We're powering through check-ins this morning. Sleep's improved. Past 2 nights I've had over 7 hours, which I'm fucking buzzing with, and I'm definitely feeling a benefit from it. I'm not flagging in the evenings. So yeah, busy day of check-ins. Couple of calls this afternoon. Well, I got a call at 7:30 this morning with Jordan, just a catch-up call before he goes on holiday tomorrow. And then I've got a couple of calls this evening then. So busy day, but let's get it done. Let's chase after it. We know what we need to do. Let's get our head down. Let's have a good fucking day and a productive week. So full day of eating, 2,800 calories. Let's go. So meal 1 is getting prepped and ready. And when I was in Tesco the other day, I wanted to actually grab sourdough, but I wanted bagels as well. So I was like, oh, what do I get? Do I get bagels or do I get sourdough? And what I actually found was sourdough New York bagels. I was like, happy days. Because I don't know how long New York bagels have had sourdough, just because they're not in Dubai. And since being back in May, I haven't had bagels into my plan. But I had these the other day and they're super, super good. So meal number 1 is going to consist of 1 sourdough New York bagel. We've got 125 grams of mushrooms in the pan ready to go. We've got 2 eggs. And then also I've got in the air fryer at the minute cooking, we've got 3 chicken sausages. So this meal absolutely slaps, to be fair. If you were watching the prep series, you will know that this meal that I used to have would just be 100 grams of mushrooms and 2 eggs. So it's actually good to have a bit of volume in this meal through bagels and through 3 chicken sausages. So I'm going to prep this meal. I'll show you it cooked and then we'll sit down. We're keeping routine where it's like we sit down, we stick a podcast on, we have it, we do a 10-minute walk, and then we go back into work. Because that's one thing that I'm making sure that I'm doing post-prep is keeping my routine, not letting things slip from like a step standpoint, not taking the piss for like sauces and stuff. Like I've done it before where it's like, oh, prep's over, let's put however much sauce I want on my meals. And I just end up running into digestive issues. So I'll still be weighing my sauce, having 10 to 15 grams. We don't want to be plastering our food with sauce. And then still just being mindful of my salt as well. Because what I would advise, if you guys don't have, is a scale like this, right? Because we've got like the weighing section where I weigh like my food and sauce. But we've also got this here as well, which that just weighs my salt, So what I do is before I have my meals, I just stick it on there, tear it, and I just put 2 grams on every meal, So don't be afraid to sodium your meals, guys, because you want to have water, but you want to have your sodium as well. So I have about 8 to 10 grams of salt per day. I do absolutely love salt. And then my pumps in the gym are also epic as well. But we have 7 minutes left of the chicken sausages. So let's get these mushrooms on, let's get this bagel toasted, and let's dig into this meal because I am very, very hungry. And this is the finished product, guys. So we have sourdough. Well, we have one New York sourdough bagel. We've got 2 eggs, 125 grams of mushrooms, and 3 Heck chicken sausages. And that meal looks like a big meal, and that contains 448 calories, 37 grams of protein, 46 grams of carbohydrates, and 12 grams of dietary fat. So even though it looks big, it's still low in calories. It's not even 500 calories. So I'm going to dig into this because this is smelling banging. May not look too appetizing, but it tastes better than it looks. So I'm going to have this meal and then steps back into a couple of check-ins before we jump on our first call of the day with Jordan in an hour's time. Bagel, eggs and mushrooms and chicken sausages devoured. Such a nice meal. Such a nice meal that, and I actually feel a little bit full afterwards rather than when I just used to have eggs and mushrooms and it didn't touch the sides. But steps are getting done now, so we'll do a 10 and 15 minute walk. And I was speaking to one of my clients, Jay, about this, about like having routine. You know, routine can be so good when you're dieting down and you're in like a prep setting, that when you finish the prep, you don't want to just lose that routine then. You know, still be on it with your food, still be on it with your training. But little things like steps then, like don't neglect them, you know, don't neglect them. Like my routine was so good in prep that not only would it help with the prep itself and like my own physical progress, but from a work standpoint, I was flying, super, super productive. So what I don't want is now the prep's over just to leave my standards drop. You know, I'm still going to treat the phase that I'm in now with the same level of discipline, with just the odd off-plan meal. You know, we're going to have an off-plan meal every week, which I'm looking forward to. You know, but still keeping standards nice and high, not leaving standards drop, and ultimately just getting fat. You know, we want to make sure that routine sticks, because this routine for myself over the past 5 months has been absolutely insane. You know, I'm productive, cognitive function's good, you know, and match that now with better sleep and a little bit more calories, we're going to turn into a fucking machine. So we're going to get some steps done and then into work, and I'll show you guys meal 2. I don't want to like ramble too much in this video. It's a full day of eating on a rest day, but a bit of a day in the life as well, I suppose. So anyway, enough of me talking. Let's get these steps done. I'll see you for meal 2. So that is a very, very productive morning so far of work done. So had the catch-up call with Jordan. He's going on holiday tomorrow, but thought it'd be great to catch up with him, you know, review his progress over the time of us working with each other so far, and then make any adjustments for when he comes back, which is what we're going to do. I'm going to get onto that for him today. But then obviously he's going to be away for a week, enjoying himself, having some nice downtime, even though he's still going to be working. He runs his own business. And when you're a business owner, you don't take time off. Or you can't. You can, but it's very hard to switch off and actually unwind. So he's going to have fresh plans to come back to in terms of we're going to adjust training slightly. We're going to adjust his meal plan slightly, just so he comes back with fresh motivation and drive, essentially. So looking forward to that, but we're going to go into meal 2, which I'm going to get this meal made. It's ready to go in the fridge, but I just need to add the whey drip and berries. Shock, this meal is going to be cream of rice. So 100 grams of cream of rice. We've got 45 grams of whey as a drip, 150 grams of berries, and 20 grams of almond butter. So I'll make this meal and I'll show you when it's done. And here we have the finished product. So that is the cream of rice bowl with a generous sprinkle of cinnamon on top as well. I absolutely love sweet cinnamon. This is the one that I use, the ground sweet cinnamon from Tesco. But I can't find, when I'm in Dubai, I can't find ground sweet cinnamon. It's just normal cinnamon. And there's a big difference. So if you have like oats in your plan or cream of rice in your plan, make sure to get ground sweet cinnamon in. So we're going to tuck into this get back into some work. We've got cardio to do today, so I am going to be heading down to the gym to do my cardio, do some abs as well, and then we need to go Tesco to pick up a few bits. So let's tuck into this cream of rice bowl. Cannot wait. That is cardio and abs wrapped up. So split the day up. We went to do our cardio and done some abs. Took some photos post-workout and attached them on the screen. I done like my front shots. I done everything, to be fair, like front, side, back, but I'll put up my front shots. So how I'm currently looking, I was 89.95 this morning, but we're still keeping things nice and tight, you know, like still keeping cardio in, still keeping steps at 10,000, you know, but what we did is we threw in some abs as well, because to make the gym worthwhile going, when I go on a rest day to do my cardio, I always like to throw in some abs as well. So some cable crunches, finished off on the Stairmaster, some posing rounds, and we've just left Tesco as well. So had to pick up some bits, stock up, and now we're just driving back to the house, and I'm absolutely ravenous, so very hungry. So the plan of action now is get in, sort myself out, put the food in the fridge, put the food in the cupboards, and then have my next meal, show you guys what the next meal is, because it is a full day of eating on a rest day, and then we'll get back into work. We got a call at 4, call at 5, and then finish off some work, have my final meal, which I'm looking forward to showing you guys my final meal, and then unwind for the evening if we can. Saying that, I think I will be able to be fair. I just need to get a post planned. There's a few late check-ins that have come through, obviously the calls, but hopefully finish at around 7, half 7. So long day, but I love what I do, so forever grateful to be in a position where I love my work. Lads are flying, teams are flying, so feels good, but I'm hungry, guys, very hungry. So I will see you guys in the house for my next meal. We're back in the house. Fridge is full, cupboards are full. Just got my food out of the microwave, and this is going to be the meal. So we have 100 grams of veg. We've got 150 grams of beef mince. And we've also got there as well 40 grams of uncooked rice. So only a small bit of rice. And there's no rice in my next meal, no carbs in my next meal, because I'm saving more calories for the evening. So what I'll do is put 15 grams of barbecue sauce in this meal. Still eating with my favourite little spoon. And we're going to savour this meal. WhatsApps are replied to as this was in the microwave. So I'm going to have this, get back into work, and then just crack on with the rest of the day. 2 meals left after this one, so stay tuned for the last 2 as well. And that is the call wrapped up with Reese. So another face joining the team, which it is great to see. He's just come back from a cruise. He came back on Sunday, which is yesterday, and wants to get his health and fitness in check, and start prioritizing himself as well. So it's a really productive call. Great to get to know him a little bit more. And he's locked in 6 months, wants to get his head down, and yeah, achieve this world-class result that I know we're going to be able to achieve. Albeit communication stays high, work ethic is high, and we both work together as a team to get the result that we're after. So buzzing for that one. But I've got my next call in half hour with Andrew, who's a current client. It's just going to be a catch-up call where we review his progress, which I'm buzzing for, because the progress that he's made is fucking insane. Absolutely insane. 15 kilo down in body fat, going on holiday on Wednesday in the shape of his life. So I was like, look, let's jump on a call. Let's review and let's get some plans in place for when we come back. So when he comes back from holiday, he knows exactly what needs to be done. But next meal is coming up, and I have already prepped this meal. It is, and because I knew I was going to have a little bit of time in between my 4 o'clock call and my 5 o'clock call, I even put the sauce and salt on this meal just in case I only had about 10 minutes to eat it. But I'm going to show you this meal, and it is going to consist of 180 grams of raw weight chicken. We've got 100 grams of veg. We've got 2 grams of pink salt, and also a new sauce that I've been using, which is the Nando's Peronaise. But guys, be mindful, please be mindful of sauces, because in this sauce, right, it's unreal, really nice, but per 15 grams you're talking 46 calories. Now if I was to put 30 grams on, that's 100 calories. If I was to do that on 2 meals, that's 200 calories extra a day from just sauce. You do that every day, that is 1,400 calories extra that you are going to consume without even realizing, because it's sauce. So if you're using sauce, be mindful. If you were watching the prep videos, you know that I would just be living off Tabasco sauce. Whereas now I'm being a little bit more flexible. I'm allowing myself to have like a variety of sauces, but I'm still weighing it. I'm not taking the piss, because I understand that calories can soon add up. So we're going to have this. We're going to get some notes planned for the call with Andrew. We're going to have the call with Andrew, finish off some work. I say finish off some work. There's always stuff to do. What we're going to do, there's one more check-in to do because it came through late. Get the post up on Instagram tonight. Start editing this YouTube video and then get into my final meal. So what you'll notice is there's no carbs in this meal, but there's a reason why. Because you'll see the size of my last meal. That is the call with Andrew wrapped up, and such a good call. I've come off that call feeling absolutely buzzing. You know, just like hearing what he has to say around the service and how it's benefited him. Yes, of course, the physical, like we're down 15 kilo of body fat, which is incredible. But how it's impacted so many different areas of his life as well. And I'm not going to go into like too much detail of it, just because it is personal. I don't want to be coming on YouTube and talking about it. But yeah, just this is what I love doing what I do. You know, it's not just a case of positively impacting someone from a physical standpoint. Like their whole life, you can change their whole life. Like me and Andrew have been working with each other for 28 weeks, and the words that he said, I wish I had it on record and then just watched it back. But it really did mean a lot. But also at the same time, the work that Andrew's putting in is phenomenal as well. You know, it takes two to get a result. You know, it's not just the work from my end, it's the work from his end as well. So it was just a super good call, you know, but we've got a clear plan in place coming back from Rhodes, which he's going away for a week with his family. You know, going to enjoy some nice downtime, but got his updated plans for when he does come back with the next goal on what we're going to be working towards. It's his 50th in September. We want to be looking in the best shape of our life. So, currently 25 past 6 in the night. So, a couple of tasks to finish off. But I'm itching to get into my next meal. I'm hungry, but it's more so like I just can't wait to have it. Because we have actually banked calories for this meal. So what I will say is the calories for this meal. I'll tell you what it is. So this meal is 1,010 calories, 55 grams of protein, 148 grams of carbs, and 21 grams of dietary fat. So fats are higher on a rest day naturally anyway, but in this meal we have 120 grams of cream of rice. We've got 55 grams of whey, 150 grams of mixed berries. We've got 2 kilo rice cakes. We've got 15 grams of honey, and we've also got 40 grams of almond butter. What a meal, guys! With a bit of ground sweet cinnamon on top. You know that I won't go out without cream. You know I won't have cream of rice without my sweet cinnamon. So it's a bigger meal, but this is where I crave. This is where I crave more foods, right? So this is just a bit of advice for you guys there, and maybe in an off-season setting and a craving certain foods in the evening. You know, like I could easily go into the fridge. We've got like a bar of Dubai chocolate that I brought back with me that I still haven't had. But we've got 2 bars of that in the fridge. I could easily have like chicken and rice and then want to have some chocolate. But instead, we've made this meal fit within my macros for the day, because the total calories for today, 2,847, 227 grams of protein, 346 carb and 60 fat. And that is with having this big bowl of cream of rice tonight. That is ultimately going to reduce food noise. I'm going to have this meal. I'm going to feel full afterwards. I'm not going to be wanting to snack on shit in the fridge. So that is what I'm going to do. That is what I'm going to do. We're going to have this bowl of cream of rice. I'll show you the meal when it is finished. But when I've finished that meal, I'm just going to want to eat it straight away. So at least I've said what that meal is. So when I do get this meal ready out from the fridge, I can show you guys the meal. I can close off the YouTube video, you know, the calories for the day, you know, the macros for the day. I've shown you each meal, and then I can literally just go straight and have that bowl of cream of rice, because I'm going to be itching for it as soon as it's made. So let's finish off some work now and bring you for this next meal, which I am absolutely buzzing for. And here we have it, guys, the final meal of the day, which is the big bowl of cream of rice. And I cannot wait to tuck into this. Ola's going to have a nice beef lasagna from Tesco, and I'm going to go for this big bowl of cream of rice. So 1,000 calories to go in. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to enjoy this meal and have a bit of downtime with Ola this evening. So been a busy day for work, rest day, obviously we've done cardio and abs, but this is a full day of eating on a rest day, meal by meal. Because I am going for a macro approach, these meals can sometimes adjust. It will be different tomorrow with it being a training day, but this is what is just allowing me to be full in the evenings. I limit my calories throughout the day to allow for a meal like this in the evening, so I'm not going into the cupboard looking for any sweet treats. So let's tuck into this. But guys, please like, comment and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.